the way we start all designs is we think about the people that use the space. And then it evolves from there. You can make anything look pretty in theory, but the functionality of a space, and everyone keeps talking about staff retention, and that is such one of the biggest bugbears at the moment in hospitality.
Massive.
And if you have happy staff, you're going to make a great customer experience. So think about that first. And so we design by thinking about how the staff are going to use it and how it makes them feel happy.
Welcome to Captive Conversations, brought to you by Captive Wi-Fi. I'm your host, Adam Forman. This podcast brings you the best stories from suppliers, marketers, and operators from our beloved hospitality sector. Now, let's get on with the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 86 of Captive Conversations. We have Catherine Gwynne from oh my gosh. Oh yeah, two, because it's 2G, it's not 2. It's very confusing because the G's in there. You threw the G in.
Everyone says G2.
G2, yeah. I was like, I know it's 2 something. So 2G design and build. What is the 2G?
Second generation.
Oh, I love that. That's the history. Is that on your website, by the way? Does it say the story of the name? No, it doesn't.
No, I don't know. I should know that, shouldn't I? No.
That's okay.
It was once second generation building services.
Yeah.
And then it evolved.
Shortened.
But yeah.
Oh, I love that. So we had Scott from Auden Hospitality on ages ago, and Auden means your oldest friend. It's like
Oh, really?
And I said to him, I was like, is that on your website? No. I said, where's the about us in the story? And now he has it. It's insane. Okay, so thank you for coming.
Thank you
and
for
the long journey. It's only an hour, isn't it? Well, how long was it?
It's like an hour and 50 minutes to be precise.
Amazing. So listen, thank you for coming. This is your second podcast of the day, so I feel very cheated on, but congratulations. Well done on packing it all in. So ours will be out before then, so it's fine.
Yeah,
we have less production value, so we're all good. But so you need to be listening to it on your way up tomorrow. Anyway,
I don't know if I can. I can't listen to my brummy tones.
I love it. I love it. I have. You're bringing back university memories.
That's good.
Okay, so we had Yaro from PickPad on before, and he said, "You wake up tomorrow and your company is growing 5 times to where you currently are. What breaks first?"
Yes, I really had to think about this, but it would be me. It would actually be me because I think running your own business has an amazing side to it, but it's also so bloody challenging.
Yeah.
So I think if I suddenly woke up and it was 5 times bigger, I would probably be slightly broken.
You'd have one of those padded rooms, wouldn't you? To like.
Yeah, exactly, totally. But to be honest, I don't think we don't want to be.
No.
We don't aspire to be. I think our whole thing is that the personal touch, the creativity. If you get too big, that
it gets lost, right?
It totally gets lost. Yeah. So we don't want that, and so I'm just going to block that out of my brain.
That's fine. No, I agree with you. And listen, you never really want to have that giant client either that leverages everything. It's nice to have the mix of everything. So awesome. I agree. I agree with you. We don't want to be the same thing either. It's like even if you get bought by someone, I sort of want to let them have it and then on to the next, and then consistent. So okay, next question. If you're catching a cab and you're inside a time machine and there's a button right in front of you that says 10 years from now, you push the button, you open the door, you're 10 years ahead, you go and get your lunch. What happens and how is your experience?
So I do think in 10 years' time, we're going to regress. I think we're going to go back to actually wanting to be with people. We're going to want to we don't want robots. We don't want any sort of handprints or any of that stuff. I think we just want authentic experiences. And I think that you can see it already that people are asking for that. And I think I'll get out of a car and it will be a person there and that person will know me and will have an element of data obviously about me. But I think the experience will be a truly handmade experience rather than because I could say I'd come out or I wouldn't even have to walk and it would just come to me.
Yeah.
And it'd be some you know, what do you call it when it's like not hallucinate when the whatever
little android.
like just delivering it all to me, and I wouldn't have to see it. But I think in 10 years I'm hoping anyway that the world will reject all that.
You know what, it's interesting you say that. I reckon my little 2 cents is it will be that, but the smart glasses will have so much more information.
Yeah.
So when you get out your taxi, one, they know your taxi's arriving at their location because that system has talked to their system. So the guys run out from the front door because his job is to greet people.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, hi, Catherine, thanks so much." And in his little glasses, Catherine, she's 5th time visit. She likes this. She spent this. She likes to sit on the corner. She likes to have this. And it's that piece that's missing now, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think and it would feel natural.
Yeah.
So that person would have to have good banter.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely.
or maybe brummy banter, but it will have good, good banter. And I think.
Which is quality banter.
Yeah, it
brummy
is.
Banter, but quality banter.
I totally agree with you.
I think that would be good. I've got celiacs as well. And I think that just that knowledge that people, you know, sometimes it's the bit I absolutely hate in hospitality is that having to explain it to people, which you'd think in this day and age you wouldn't have to do all that explanation.
You heard about Sonny's?
No.
He's opening a gluten-free and I think it's celiac, I'm not sure, first ever like gluten-free fried chicken place.
Really?
Yeah, with gluten-free bread. Yeah, he's currently in London for the moment. He's currently going through it all. So yeah, I saw him at the service event and before we met him before, and I love it. He's basically building in public.
When's he opening?
And I'll let you know. I'll introduce you. So yeah, it's really interesting. He's like even to the bread, and you can buy bread as well there. You know, fried chicken but healthy. Like it's just there's a need for it, right? All you've got is gluten-free nuggets from Leon, and it's pretty poor.
Oh no, horrendous. And I feel like the quality of their nuggets. I think when they first launched, they cared, and now they're like really.
Well, it's been bought back by the owner, hasn't it? So I reckon things will change. I used to love I used to go there for breakfast the whole time. Like I used to go to breakfast. I used to speak to the guys. Never used to use any technology. Never used any app. I'd walk in, recognize, speak to that manager, have a bit of banter, get my breakfast, leave, have a great day, and then it sort of lost itself. So, and now it's back to John who bought it, who's kicking out some of the kiosks, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that the quality will go back to how it was.
It's so notably different.
Yeah.
And it is just that so. You see this in so many operators when like they get investors in, and it's like let's just cut all the possible costs.
Yeah.
And then it just is a crap experience.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay.
So, yeah.
Best hospitality experience.
So,
yes.
I've just had so many, and that's the thing, which is such a first world thing to say. Oh God, I've just had, but so in Birmingham, there's an Italian place called Tropea, and it's one of the places obviously we did, but people just love being there. It's like a waiting list, and they're all just like happy. The food's amazing. It feels great as you walk in. Everything from each of the drinks to all of the food. They make me fresh, handmade, gluten-free pasta, which is insane.
Handmade?
Handmade.
I think I'm driving to Birmingham. Wow.
It's literally amazing. I like dream about it. And like when we go with other people, everyone wants to taste mine. I just like, no, get off. I just wanted to eat it all myself.
That's hard. That's impressive.
It's so hard.
Yeah. And to keep it all separate.
Yeah. They are brilliant, and they really think about it. And so just the overall experience is fantastic.
Yeah. How often do you how often are you there?
Well, not enough. Now I'm saying it. I think like I should go. Like we take people, we take our team, we take other, but actually I should just go and sit on my own and have a big bowl of pasta, probably which I've never done. So yeah, I think that would be, but I've had so many, and I think they're all just good for different reasons. Like the Wildmoor Oak, that's in the Midlands. Again, just really good service, just really good like pub food that's just and like
I've been searching. Like, I've been going. I live in Hertfordshire, so we've been going further out to like Hitchin and stuff. Just further out, like because it's same amount of time to drive in central London. A little bit cheaper outside London, obviously, but driving out to find those pubs, those groups, those little independents.
Yeah.
And I've been having fun. This has been great. Like, place I've never been to. I would never drive 30, 40 minutes outside London. I'm not in London. I'm in Hertfordshire, but 30, 40 minutes out.
Yeah.
And it's been really interesting.
It is.
The service has been great. The food's been great. Obviously, you have some bad ones, but
what would you choose in a pub?
Well, food-wise,
do you have a standard? Like, if you'd have the ultimate pub.
Don't, because it brings me back to, I used to work in High Wycombe a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a pub opposite the office, and it was just the curly fries was like I would have like the giant plate of curly fries. It brings me, and they were amazing. They were like the best curly fries you'd ever had. So I would literally have a mound of curly fries.
Oh my God, I love
so
curly fries.
I think that and a pint of orange lemonade. I have a psychological problem I don't have a pint if it's later, but for lunch. For some reason, if I walk into a pub, it's a pint of orange lemonade. I don't know why, but it just tees it off. That and curly fries, I'm happy man. So it depends on the pub. Okay, best hospitality tech.
Just I'm talking to a tech person though, so that's just. I'd probably say, like, again, it's probably the most obvious thing, but it is the QR code thing. There's a new like food hall in Birmingham, which I've forgotten the name, St. Paul's Market or something anyway. And they've got loads of really good quality track. There's so many street food places where the design of the space is crap. Yeah. It's done so cheaply. It just feels just budget, and then you have to then spend like quite a lot on a dish, and it just you spend it's just like 17 quid on a on like a street food thing, and you sat in the cold and all of that, and you're actually like it's like, whereas actually this place have designed it really well, and they've got really high quality. So, and then I've got a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, so if they want chicken and I want something else, whatever, you can just order that, so not having to try and juggle
so do you just order it and then it brings it to you, or do you go collect it?
From all the different things, and they bring it to you.
They bring it to you as well?
Yes, and they got a bar, and they bring that to you.
Nice. I've been to, so there's a couple here that do that now, which is nice. So you can multi-order, and then you can also split the bill with people, or you can give the link to people. So me and you do this thing where you go out for a meal, or you go out for a team outing, and you just share the QR link, or message them, this is the link, and they can order on your tab.
Oh, really?
Which is really nice. And then the food they don't, that one that I went to didn't deliver. You had to go collect because it was quite small. But that's quite cool. Giving the opportunity for going out for they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And then no buzzers. It's all done. So
I think that's a game.
Yeah. Do they come back and then ask if you want other stuff or not? Like, do they have a little
they didn't, no.
Yeah.
But maybe
bad
that's
upsell. Bad upsell.
Yeah.
So that's I think
that's true.
I think the QR ordering thing for food hall specifically, but being able to multi-order is, I haven't seen that much. Yeah. To be honest with you, there's only a few places that do it.
Sometimes QR codes can wind me up though, and it is just it's too reliant on that. It kind of needs the two, the two to come together, the service as well as the QR code.
I quite like it when someone's got their little handheld walking around.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can have the choice. I think the technology, so you're learning tech now, you're talking all tech, and you're like, I don't do tech. It's interesting because I think the customer should have the choice. So if you go to a super high-end restaurant, for example, and the QR code's on the table, you can use it if you want to. If you don't feel that you want to speak to someone, you don't have to. Or if you do want to speak to someone, you can get they're walking around and so on. So I went to one a little while ago, and it was like that. It was either you could QR, and I was in a hurry. I was in such a hurry. Service was amazing. They were like all over you, which is fine. So I got the bill.
Where was this?
It was at the Bowtree Hotel. It was called Lavo. It's a really nice restaurant just in Marylebone, just down from here. And I was in a meeting, and service was great. But it was the first restaurant I've been to. This was about a year ago now. They had a QR on the table, and they had it. I think they just had it for lunch. I don't think they put it out for dinner. They purposely put it out for lunch because they know people are in a hurry.
Yeah.
I think it's really clever.
Yeah,
so I think
that's really,
given the choice is interesting.
I think so.
We're going to go back in time.
Okay. Drive less wrinkles.
So we'll do Botox later.
Okay, great.
where did it begin? Where did you start? And also, interesting about the second generation thing. So, like, where did you originally start? Were you always in the sector? Were you talk to me from
the way second generation was a building company. So I run 2G with my husband.
Yeah.
So Nick started second generation building service because he was a second generation from a construction company.
Okay.
So his family were builders, did amazing projects. He then started it, but then went to be a fine dine chef.
Really?
Yes.
Bit of a pivot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And did that for a certain amount of time, and then went back to then creating second generation building services.
Yeah.
So he did that, and
this is before you met.
No, it's whilst I was with him, but at the time I was in the corporate world, working in the drinks industry, traveling around the world, teaching people about wine, and going to lots of different hospitality outlets.
You need to go back. We're going way too far ahead. Okay, let's go before the 2D. Let's go your story. So right, because this is really I'm more interested now. This is you're like travel around the world, teaching people about wine. I'm like, what? Okay, so let's go back. Early doors. Question for you. I asked this to everyone. Did you work in hospitality at all when you were younger, or uni or whatever?
Oh yeah, so Leeds Uni. I worked in the Original Oak, and I worked in the pub that poured the most amount of snakebite and blacks in the country.
Insane.
But I was really. See, when you talk about design, I was too short for the bloody glasses in the pubs. I'd have to have extra little steps to pick up the glasses. But yeah, I worked throughout university in lots of pubs, mainly in the Original Oak.
So one question for you, and I say this to a few people as well. Do you think working in a pub adjusted your expectations and how you actually communicate with people? Because I think working in hospitality, it changes you slightly. It softens you, and you sort of have a better understanding. Because my nephew also worked in a pub after college, and he's like a different kid. He's just
I would absolutely encourage my children to do that, because you talk, especially a pub like the pub I worked in. So you had students who were there certain nights a week, absolutely pissed, and then you had the guy who was there every day, sat by the pub, the way you have to communicate to every different type of person. I think it is crucial to your upbringing. And then I also worked as a cashier at Lloyd's Bank, which also teaches you a lot about talking to lots of people, but that was one.
I'm sure.
But yeah, I think working hospitality is such a great teaching experience.
Yeah, I agree
for sure.
Yeah.
But yes, then when I left that, I went into a company where they write data about the drinks industry, IWSR, and I would travel around the world to do that. And from there, I then went.
So what, learning about the product and then telling about the product?
So you'd go and so let's say my countries were, so I would have to visit 11 countries in 6 weeks.
Wow.
I was 23 and I looked about 10. And you travel
with a Brummie accent.
With a Brummie accent. And
languages? You speak, how many languages? You speak any languages?
Just speak Spanish and English. And so, so you'd have to go and do these, interviews in Spanish. I would have to say, quite a sexist world as well. Traveling around, and then you basically wrote about what people consumed. So you'd go and visit Diageo, you'd go and visit Pernod Ricard, but then you'd also visit the local Pisco company or whatever, and just write about how their sales were doing. And it was basically like a kind of market research. About each country. So if someone wanted to launch something in that market, they would buy
the research.
So did that, and then I went from there to work for Accolade Wines, which is Constellation Brands, which is the largest wine company.
That's insane. Doing the same thing or doing something different?
No, so that was then
you were just
sales.
Drinking wine.
Yeah.
Sales.
Yeah. So I basically did all the WSET exams and then would go and sell. So it was you had a whole plethora of so you had Hardy's wines, Echo Falls, all the way to some amazing. I know. And then all the way to
my younger years.
Oh yeah. It was very easy drinking. But Stoles or whatever. And then but then some beautiful, amazing wines. And so you'd go and you'd talk to people. Again, from 5-star Dubai hotels to like little, you know, wine shops in Suriname or whatever, like across the whole range. And again, that's, you know, such a teaching, but it also really taught me about hospitality industries and what works and what doesn't, you know, and where, you know, such different environments, and like you're really kind of getting a...
So also in different countries as well?
Different countries, yeah. So I would travel to... So I'd basically do 6 weeks, 11 countries, come back for 2 weeks,
Hold on,
back
6 weeks and 11 countries?
Yeah,
that's
come back, then go and do it again.
Wow.
And then, so I did like my area was Latin America and Southeast Asia.
Nice.
And then like the Middle East as well.
Wow, that's insane. How long did you do that for?
I did that for about 5 years.
That's amazing. So are you good at the nose? Are you good at the giving it a little swell and picking out the notes? You know,
I am.
Dark
my husband
plum
would say
and...
he's significantly better
Oh, really?
than me. He's the right pod when it comes to one. So he's always like, oh yeah, we should. And I think sometimes he is quite influenced by price, whereas but yeah, so I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm a natural, but
you could sell it, but you can...
I could definitely sell it, and I know what I like, and I know...
What's your favourite wine?
Oh,
if I could put you out of the fridge now.
It genuinely is about
what you're eating as well.
What you're eating, like 100%. And like memories as well. Like I used to work for Robert Mondavi, and we had an old Robert Mondavi, which is from Napa Valley, wine, and I opened it and it just... was amazing, but it reminded me of like the years when I would go to the vineyard and you'd have those experiences.
It's amazing how smell ignites stuff as well. We had Gabrielle on last week, actually, no, the week before, and she got a white company. She was out getting a white company like candle. Yeah, and it reminds her. She used to work at the Ivy, and the Ivy has the smell. And she smelt it, and it just immediately brought her back. Oh, really? It's interesting you're saying that as well, because it really does. Like certain things, like, you know, will remind you of that time. 100%. I love it when hotels and stuff like that, or even like, you know, that certain things will kick in the memory. Yeah,
exactly. And there's so much psychology around that. And you know, even when we do designs as well, you think about that, like the way, you know, smells are, even colors, and like all of those things are so important to think about, because it really how people feel.
Yeah, it's what it's like. Sight, it's smell, sight, and touch. They're the three pieces. Totally. Awesome. Okay, so so sorry. Yeah, go on. This is really interesting. I'd love to hear it, because it's interesting. Yeah. So then I went. So after that, to be honest, it was, you know, just. Like a guy came in and started running it. I didn't really believe in. So then I went and then went into the beer industry. Got sort of like, it was director level in that, very male orientated. Very male orientated. Again, did you kick ass in the beer industry? I can imagine. Well, it's quite hard to, but then that was at the point when was that before lots of microbreweries around, or was it? Yeah, it was basically trying to like get through in that world where everyone's innovating quickly, and if the bigger companies weren't innovating quickly enough, and I basically fell out of love with the corporate world. And so it was also a time when, you know, I was wanting to start a family, blah, blah, blah. So went and studied interior design. Hold on. So you just went like, right, that's it, I'm going to start interior design. So we're offering voluntary redundancy to people. To be fair, again, I had to fight for that, which is a general rule, and then managed to get that. So then took that, went to study interior design, because in Nick's world, he had basically... Had you already met Nick? Met Nick, was married to Nick. Okay. And he was doing the construction, and was he doing his own company at that point? So at this point, he started his own company, second generation building services, starting to do construction for commercial properties, getting designs from other people that looked good but were shit in terms of functionality and then the back and forth, you know, so people would give him a design, they would say it's going to cost X. He would cost it like, well, it costs like 3 times as much. Then they would have to take it back to the designer. Yeah. And they also were designing things without really any knowledge of the building and how to actually utilize the building. The usual architect thing, right? Yeah. The architect gives you this beautiful the amount of times we've been on site for the project that's delayed for 6 months because they fired the architect 3 times. He's never been to site. He's never spoken to the builders, doesn't look at the structure, but wants to put a waiter station there. And where there's no power or you can't. It's just insane.
It is insane. And it's like, you know, sometimes people try and do it like cost savings or whatever. I don't even know why people don't just go to one person just does it all, because then, you know, like your free rent periods way like gone way out the window. You know, all the costs escalate, then the back and forth, and then who takes the responsibility of it and all of that stuff. So you sort of saw a gap in the market of like, well, not a gap, because obviously the people that do it, but actually to make great spaces, you need it both in-house. So that was when I was like, I'm going to go and study interior design. By this point, I'd also, within my corporate world, managed quite a lot of culture change programs as well. So within the culture change programs, I'd done a lot of training and all that about like, how do you make a space for the culture of you know, and like, how do you make people feel? How do you make people motivated? How do you make productivity increase by the space that you're in? So I'd already done all of that. So that was when I was like, this is a natural progression for me to go into interior design and to really understand how we create spaces.
So did you do your house first and then on to the next project?
No, to be honest, never done that bit. No, it's like, but it was also commercial. It was always going into like, you know, that sort of thing. And then, and so then we sort of brought that together, and now we've got amazing designers.
So what was that conversation piece like? What was that like? You know, he's doing his thing, and you're like, so I'm going to do this, and then we're going to work together. You know, what was that like?
Well, it's been a journey. It's not been a one conversation. No. It's definitely been, you know, and some days I think it was the worst idea I ever had. Some days, well, like 95% of the time, I think it was a great idea. It just sort of evolved. I don't know. It's a really good question. I don't know. I can't really remember how that even began. It just felt like a natural thing because of, I really wanted to develop more in this, like the culture change bits that had got such deep learnings from, and how do you make spaces?
Well, you over time, you visited so many and you've spoken to so many and seen so many. So I guess it feels like a natural progression across, right?
Totally. And the fact that like Nick was a fine dining chef, he really knew how kitchens run, how to make things efficient. So he could see it from the operational point of view, and I saw it from the other, like the people point of view.
It's all about the flow as well, right?
Like,
that flow. I think
God,
the one that kills me is this piece where sort of go into a restaurant and not thought about the flow of people. So you walk in and you're sort of stuck in the corner, the door's right next to you, you're freezing cold because it's being open and closed, and then it's weird. Like sometimes I find I don't understand.
So the thing is that this is, I think, one of the biggest issues at the moment is that so people just design to make it look good. The way we start all designs is we think about the people that use the space, and then it evolves from there. You can make anything look pretty in theory, but the functionality of a space, and everyone keeps talking about staff retention, you know, and that is such one of the biggest bugbears at the moment in hospitality.
Massive.
And if you have happy staff, you're going to make a great customer experience. So think about that first. And so we design by thinking about how the staff are going to use it and how it makes them feel happy.
Well, you're feeding the psychology of it into it as well, rather than just this is the plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Because traditionally the architect would give you the plan. Without potentially thinking. It's interesting because you've got Nick, did he work in fine dining as well? Okay, so you've got that piece. It's really, I mean, my brain's going like crazy. Like, so fine dining to construction is just like, you know, it's interesting. Right. So it's like I'm fed up with that now, and I'm going to go into construction. But taking the knowledge from there, taking your knowledge from there, and marrying it together is quite interesting, because normally a traditional company would have to bring in additional people to do that, right?
Well, exactly. And I think we kind of had that foundation perfectly between the two of us, because, you know, he'd grown up with construction. He'd done a master's in construction project management, and then went into fine dining, and then sort of went, and so had all the construction knowledge. And then I had the sort of people side of it, and the you know, and the hospitality kind of knowledge from around the world. And it kind of brought it.
So when did it first? What was the first thing? Like when did that? Did you like, right? I've done my training. I'm ready to go. By the way, we're gonna. Right. What was the first?
We just started with one. There was one pub that we did where we just sort of did the design basically for free, really, just to kind of see how. And again, it's really popular, and they've now have a few places, but we just sort of started seeing how.
So he was like, we'll do the design layout for you, as part of this.
We'll do it, yeah. So we started still. What was that like that for you, out of interest?
Because that's like first project.
Yeah.
Was it a bit nerve-wracking, or was it?
Well, you've obviously got like the massive imposter syndrome thing going on, and you don't. But weirdly, the more you do it, the more you realise how much knowledge you have, if you know what I mean. And I think that, and how little people have when they're running it. I think you've got these amazing people that are amazing chefs, amazing at like cocktails, amazing at what they do. They've got a business mind.
Yeah.
But actually, when it comes to functionality, they don't know. Because
all they want to do is cook, and all they want to do is make drinks.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that it's been quite an easy win in that sense, because we've seen so many places that have been designed without that functionality in mind, and we've seen many people that are just desperate or done one or two themselves, and then they come and they're like, we don't know, because now we can't fit 2 people behind the bar, and then when people come in, as you say, there's like chairs in the way. Just it doesn't think about the flow, and then the staff are like pissed off every day, and then they're grumpy, and and all of that type of things. The acoustics, you hear the clanging of plates in the background, and so that then
chef screaming.
The chef screaming.
I quite like the chef screaming. To be fair, I do quite like that. I quite like hearing it. It's like it just puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, exactly. But, and we're
you don't want the commie going past you with a trolley or a tray of like mop wash, whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's
totally.
Just,
or the even just like from the lighting. Like if you're there every day, all day working, and then the lights are too low, too bright, or you can't adapt it to the different times of day, and all those type of things. It's going to be annoying for the people working there, and then that's going to absolutely translate into the customer experience.
Yeah, I didn't think. It's weird. My brain goes to design architect done, building done, and then there'll be a small conversation piece with the chef and maybe the GM about where things will go. But we've done a lot of different projects, and there's a couple of them that have done what you're saying, where they've gone in and then looked at it. I think, who was I speaking to the other day? I had a Massimo. He's got he's a restaurant consultant, and one of the things he started to do, like bringing everyone together, like and then they'll sit on top of it. Do you know what I mean? So the restaurant consultant's on top, bring people like you in, and everyone out together. And because he's got the understanding, he'll walk around. He'll do like the virtual walk around.
Yeah.
But it's rare that people in your position would do that.
Yeah.
Talking about, basically the interesting thing we have here is the link between the emotion to the thought process, to the design, to the flow, and then putting the construction piece on top and understanding both pieces.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really exist much unless you've got, so you either get a very expensive architect that does like luxury, and then gives you the plans. And as you said, goes to the builders, and then the back and forwards probably costs an absolute fortune of like how that even works.
Yeah.
Backwards and forwards. The questions of this, actually that won't fit here because you've not understood the space.
Yeah.
That won't work here. So with you, is it the case of you get the structure, he gets it out, and then you both sort of look at it together?
Well, it's kind of do. So basically, the briefing stage is so important, and people often even like skip that, and they're like, "Yeah, I know what you want," and and like some people show a few Pinterest images, like, "Great," whatever. But actually, for us, it's really getting under the skin of, because as well as like the functionality of it, you need to feel the brand, you need to feel what it is that they're trying to achieve as you walk in, and again, it's getting under the skin of that. So.
It reminds me of, sorry to interrupt. It reminds me of, so we had Annika on a little while ago from Two Forks.
Oh, yeah.
And she does something called the pub test, where she'll meet them, have the conversation with them, like more founder-led stuff. And if that connection is there, they'll work together. But if the connection is not there, they won't work. It's because of the pub test.
Oh, really?
And it's interesting to say what you're saying, because when you meet the client, if it isn't the if you don't get the feel of understanding what the brand is, how do you really do what you do? Do you know what I mean? It's an interesting one.
So I think you often do if they understand the value of design. I think if they don't understand the value of design and they're just like, I just want you to do it like quickly and cheaply, and you know, I've basically, a lot of people, I've basically already done it.
Here's
like,
ChatGPT. Oh my God, what is that like now? Have you got people just going into like AI and going, I've got the plans, here you go?
Because they just don't. Again, it's like they will just produce something that's already been produced.
Yeah.
And our entire, going back to your original question about how big we want to be, we don't want to be big because we want every space that we do to be different.
Yeah, bespoke.
So obviously we work with some clients who are going to do multiple sites, and that's okay, and that's working with the brand. But each site will have its own feel and its own
some form of link to connect them together.
Exactly. But we don't want people that just want to churn stuff out. If they want something that's quick, easy, churn it out.
You're not the right people.
We're not the right. Whereas if it's like about actually fundamentally looking at how it works and the functionality of it, and obviously making places look stunning, but that's got to feel the stunningness must come from what they are trying to produce.
So from their concept through design creation to the flow of into the design and concept creation.
Exactly. And just so importantly, how the guys work in their day in, day out feel, and how they...
I don't know anyone that thinks about that.
Yeah, and it's really interesting that people don't, because it's like the biggest... If you ask anyone in hospitality at the moment, what is your biggest bugbear? They'll say employee retention. Yeah. And so why not think about how they use the space? Because it's all, everyone needs speed at the moment. So they need efficiencies, they need, employee retention, like all of those elements comes down to the design. Because if you don't have efficiency of space and the flow and how the back of house, front of house work together, and the acoustics and light, all of that is so crucial to everything you're trying to achieve to get that return on investment that you need when you're doing it. But it does seem, and everyone we talk to him was like, oh yeah, why doesn't everyone do it that way? I don't know.
I think it's because it's quite fragmented. I think for how we see it, when we get introduced, there's like 50 different people connected. Like I literally was introduced to a scope of work today with 50 different, like probably 30 different people CC'd in, which then makes it really difficult. But those site meetings, obviously it's interesting because your site meetings are probably less than 30 people, obviously. And it's just, so do you take control of everything? And then project manage everything. So then that site meeting doesn't need to be, obviously you bring Sparkies and whatever if you need to, but realistically it's controlled from the top level.
So we'll bring in, mechanical and engineering experts and, like subcontractors like within and obviously
I'm talking about that first, during site build is different. You need them in there, but I'm talking about, before and the lead up needs to have less people involved.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they don't, nobody else needs to be involved really in the initial bit, and then we get everybody that's needed. So in theory, the owner just needs to give us all of their thoughts and everything and menu and all of that data, and then in theory could just walk away, and then we obviously take them on the journey, but they don't need to then get bogged down in the 30 different people.
The doors aren't ready, and the sparking needs this, and or the wrong size that, and all this sort of stuff.
You don't need any of that, and it doesn't help really for them to get involved in that, because as you say, they've made a successful business because they're brilliant at, like, a brilliant chef or a brilliant cocktail maker or great marketeer for brands, and it's just. So
going back to when you first started, the first one you did, the pub, that pub's still there, and looks nice, I'm sure. And then
a year ago, 100% of all the places we had designed and fit out remain open.
Oh wow!
Only one has now. But that was one of our really early ones. But so 100%.
Well, it's sort of proven method. I think that's why isn't that on your website as well?
And that's true.
That's like 99.99% of venues that we have are still operating a profit. That is a story to use. That's insane.
That is insane.
And that is insane.
Yeah.
So first one, and then then you got your teeth into it more.
Yeah.
And then you're like less imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And then was it more over your husband saying, right, we can do this? Or because obviously
both of us, I think we both know that we just work really well together, and we have such different skill sets. Like his knowledge is incredible. Like from a building perspective, he can literally walk in and he can understand a building better than anyone because he's seen it from all angles. And so I think we both really just truly respect and understand that we both, and so it kind of just evolved from there. It's a really good question, like how it evolved, but it just naturally did, and it made sense to kind of go down this route. And it's just been through word of mouth. It's only like recently we actually started investing in marketing because it's all been recommendations. I saw you at the team marketing,
didn't I?
Yeah, exactly.
So 100%.
Now I've got to go to the networking and all those things. But yeah, it's all been like organic growth, word of mouth.
I love that though, but that's hospitality really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So is it mainly hospitality? Is that, or is it a bit of retail as well? Or?
No, so we now do offices.
Yeah.
But mainly again, because people have come to us to say that they want offices to be more creative.
Yeah.
And
it's so hard sometimes, right?
Oh my God, honestly.
And
again,
it's got to be the welcoming piece, because it's like you want to go to somewhere to work in a nice place.
Well, exactly. So now really the biggest trend is like that hospitality and office have merged together, because people now go and work in hospitality places, and now offices want to be designed like hospitality spaces because we're doing one place at the moment where, you walk in and it's an F&B offering as you walk in, and then there's like a yoga studio, plunge pools, all that.
Oh my God, yes,
so
please.
People, exactly.
I'll work there.
But I think, that's the way it's got to be. And so that's why we've all gone into that, with people coming to us going, we don't want another bloody cookie cutter, like, AcuPanel shit everywhere, and like it all looks the same. Actually, we want something that talks to the brand. Exact same principle.
It's inviting piece, isn't it?
It's like, how do you make the people that work there feel good about themselves? You speak about the brand, you feel a certain way as you walk in, and that you kind of want to go, because you're having to force people now. Well, not force, but
we are really, because they're so used to the COVID generation of people working from home. There's that lack of even if someone's coming once a week, to have the opportunity to go somewhere that's openly relaxed and feels and puts a smile on your face.
Totally.
We have a client that doesn't work with. They're in Covent Garden, and the office manager, they've got a head office in like Europe, quite lots of very wealthy. It's in tech, and I went in about a year and a half ago. I hadn't spoken to her for a bit, but I went in a year and a half ago, and she's like, office manager. I said, what's wrong? She goes, I've just had to cancel the 5 Pelotons I ordered. And I was like, what do you mean? Why? She goes, they just keep like going to like head office and saying, well, they've got this, we need to order it. And then order it. And then I went back a week later, and there's this giant orange like juicing machine. I was like, what's this? She goes, yeah, that was $4,500. You know, because they want something, there's a pool table, but it still doesn't feel.
But exactly, they're doing what people do badly, is that they're just ordering stuff. Quick, get this, and like let's just like make that little area look better. But actually, what I obviously think intelligent people are looking at like the holistic approach, and they go, right, how do we make this entire place feel like our brand?
Yeah, plunge pool,
like
definitely.
Our values.
Plunge pool's the way forward.
Yeah, plunge pools, a little bed for a nap note.
Yeah.
But I think it's just really understanding that, and the F&B bit and the office bit just merging into one.
Well, you're sort of like taking it's like WeWork all over again, right? Because you go into WeWork, you had the bar there, they had all the drinks, it was quite relaxed, it was a really good open environment. I think that was an interesting generation of where people see work, office work versus, because there's lots of co-working pieces. I think it's all changed. I guess you're right, it needs to be inviting, right?
But it's also like, really understanding like neurodiversity as well now, like, where you work, and this goes for hospitality as well as like how we designing spaces to really allow everybody to be at their best. And all of that is like needs to be considered, and how we do it. And I think that is super key. Again, it's just not, again, it can't be a cookie cutter approach to any of this.
But the neurodiversity is also apparent in the venues, right? As well, right? A colleague of mine was out with his kid, trying to find a space that's not so loud, not so overbearing, struggled. No guy. In Christmas, he went out and he posted it on the team marketing, and during Christmas, I built a little guide. It's
really?
not live, but it was called SenseWise. And I was like, it would be cool to have locations that have the quiet times, all on there. Like people who want to just go out for lunch, but then the upstairs is always quiet, 2 to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Or you want to go for a meeting. Like going for a meeting in a coffee shop is a nightmare because it's always so loud. So I had the thought process. I just tinkering with it, but it's interesting because
definitely, I think it's really important because I think, well, the amount of places that don't think about acoustics is madness. Like, and then they'll really like backtrack and show a few like acoustic panels.
Have you heard of Startle?
No.
So they really clever. So they put sensors in the restaurant, and they adjust the music based on the level of people talking versus. So it's not just so it plugs into the amp, right? So the AV guys would put the amp in, and they'd put sensors in the room.
Oh, that's good.
So then the levels of music will go higher if there's more people talking. It will go lower, or if there's less people, different areas will display less. And it's again using the sort of psychology piece really of understanding what you want, because you don't want to be like I have hearing issues. So going to a really loud restaurant and I'm at the end of a table, I can't hear anything. I can see the people behind me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I can hear. So I had the worst experience in the world. I'm like, and I never went back
to that. Exactly.
Never went back,
and that is the thing. People just don't go back. And but also, now going back to the merging of the two thing, a lot of people who work from home, they've scrapped their offices and they'll come and use a hospitality space for a day for their team. And they want to be able to, have fun, but also have a productive time and all that. So again, hospitality spaces are now needing to be flexible.
Yeah, it's not just competitive socializing anymore.
No, exactly.
It's utilizing it for like the market halls, for example, awesome space, bit of competitive socializing in there. Good spaces to work as well, not super loud. I think that's really important. And also, I'd rather go to market halls and have a cup of coffee and have a bit of lunch maybe in a court, sit on a table, because they've got nice little tables where you can just sit by yourself and do some work. And then I don't get bothered. It's not super loud. Lunchtime's busy as a buzz. You don't feel like you're by yourself.
Absolutely.
It's really interesting thinking about, because you can get co-working space and sit by yourself in like a pod, whatever. And have to pay a fortune for it.
No,
or you can just go to as you said, go to a hospitality space. Then where they're very happy to have you, as long as you drink your coffee or whatever, or have your lunch there.
Totally.
And if it's a big enough space, you can stay.
Well, we're working at the moment with a like a gym, like a high-end gym, and they've got a restaurant that they could make so much more of their F&B offering, which they're now seeing, and we're redesigning it because some people come and just sit on their laptops there. Some people want to come and eat. Some people just come back from sport. And how do you create a space?
How do you separate it all as well, right?
That then they're not then getting annoyed that someone else is. And it's like really bad.
I don't want the sweaty bloke sitting next to me eating dinner, but I don't mind, how you've the flow of it all.
And it's like really designing it, but again, from how people are going to use the space. But
it's so interesting how your brain works, because it's not That's it. It's not normal, but it's good. It's good. It's good. No, it's good. Well, it's good because you're making a change. You're fixing a problem. And I hate the word problem. But you're fixing a problem. The problem is that people aren't seeing how the flow should work. I love it. As I said, walk in somewhere and you feel welcome. There's no like corner space. There's the thought process of the flow. It's like when you go into Flying Tiger and they make you walk around everywhere. Because they know that you'll get something. So that the IKEA method, right? So you walk through and they've purposely designed you through, or you go into a Hollister and the lights are deep, low, purposely. You can't really see. But it's a memorable experience as well. So it's really, it's like, it's sort of taking, I feel like you're taking hotel experience into other hospitality, because hotels really have a thought process to everything: the room, the piece, where everything is, where everything's set, where everything leaves, and sometimes it's just immaculate. Of like just everything's where it should be.
Exactly.
And I feel like you're taking. It's like you're taking.
And you feel
it's like when your years of traveling to different hotels, maybe. But is it right how you feel?
It's just all about how you feel, and I just think now, because hospitality industry is so hard. You need people to come back. You need people to remember it. And people just designing it in the wrong way. They're thinking that you put something on the wall, it's going to do that. And it's not. And it is literally about how people feel about it. Because now people are choosing with their wallets, and it's got to be, somewhere that they.
It's interesting because we've got some clients in America, and we found that we were speaking to some operators, and people who would normally go to casual dining are now going to fast casual, because in the US the spaces are massive.
Yeah.
So the family restaurant would go to the lower cost fast casual place because they can get the nice meal. It's okay, they can't afford not the casual dining restaurant because it's really expensive. And that they're using that. It's really interesting, and we find a similar-ish here. Really, people aren't. The casual dining restaurants, some are struggling.
Yeah.
But the ones that have that experience and have good customer service and the flow will always be. I went to one the other day. It was an Italian restaurant. They had like a freaking tree in the middle of the restaurant. It was insane. It was so cool. It was good though. It was and I remember. I'm telling you because I remember it.
Yeah.
So those little things, or it's the personality.
Yeah.
But
and it is the person. Like, we're working with a few brands now who want to do like a franchise model. And again, you've got to get that brand right. And what
do they ask you to help them build the brand book as well?
Yeah.
Because it's really interesting, because there's guidelines, right? So they can give marketing guidelines.
Yeah.
But they just give it to someone who doesn't have the build guidelines.
Yeah.
It's all wrong.
Exactly. So we will build that.
I love that.
All of that. So, you have to use all these materials, you use these, and so then it's like, and obviously, and then we then adapt the design to each building, but you've still got the concept, and so when you walk in, what that brand is and how it
when they franchise out, is their first point saying, speak to you guys?
Yeah.
And if they're like, no, we've got someone, then they're like, you have to use these guidelines.
Yeah, so we'll create those guidelines. Yeah. Often they obviously prefer it for us to do, then it just is quicker, and it's quicker for them rather than having to. And so
the franchise is hard though, right? Because it will depend. Like we've got 3 or 4 brands that we work with that have expanded, and they've sort of got it to it's okay, but like the Sparky's not done a great job, or the plugs are in the wrong places, but they've managed to get through it because they've not chosen to go with that layout, with that same thing. So it's really interesting. In America, it's a massive game changer because you're looking at 100 locations and pretty quick.
Yeah.
But here, I think the franchise is happening massively here. Like, look at Black Sheep have just gone absolutely crazy out with theirs.
But I think it's mad as we were doing it and getting different fit out companies and things like that, because there's no economies of scale. Like, we could, any company, if you go with one, we should always go with one, because they can get.
Well, they've got the understanding. They've got the understanding of what it is. Yeah,
exactly.
Unless you've got someone in house.
Yeah.
And then do you find that when someone gets to a certain scale, or do you not work with those sort of brands, like the larger, like those sort of, like, depends?
So you get to a certain. So sort of our sweet spot are the people that have, like, obviously got a few venues and understand the headache of that, and then but when they're too big, they've already got like an in-house design team. Sometimes we'll do the fit out for them, but generally the people that.
Your sweet spot, that's your sweet spot, right? The
exactly.
The founder-led stuff is your sweet spot. Someone who you meet and you get, and then it's really interesting. Like, when we did the Wi-Fi thing, when we started doing design, I met with a designer, and I did my whole blah, everything, and he looked up and he was like, "I've got you." And at that moment, I knew he knew what I wanted to build, the layout, the customer journey, the flow, and it feels similar to you. Like, when you meet someone, you sort of get it. Like, they sell you the dream, and then you just got it, and then you can make that reality. But isn't that amazing though, as well? Like, you're taking something that they want to create and actually making it reality. It just blows my mind. Like, it blows my mind.
We often work with people that have already got a few venues, so they've already created.
Yeah, but you're taking that.
Or that, and so we're taking that and just elevating it and taking it to the level that it needs to be.
So do you tend to find that when you've done that, they look at it and go, okay, we're going to close X.
Yeah. People often know the mistakes they've made. It's often they'll be like, we should have done. But I think it is.
So once that one's done, made a lot of shit ton more money, we'll just invest back into the other one, and then you go in and redo.
Well, that's the other thing. We talk a lot about, return on investment, because we know that is key. So we design to ensure that they get that return on investment. Well, never ensure.
No.
But, work with with that commerciality in the back of our minds, because it is so important that they're getting that return.
I feel like you need like a strap line on your website, a design with feel or something like that. like or like emotion.
Yeah.
Like, because it's really
and return on investment.
Yeah, and ROI. And ROI.
Yeah.
Because you can't really say ROI anymore, because it's just like it's a weird one. You've got to sort of skirt around it.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
It's
So
hard.
it's more
That's
about
what people care about, though. Which they should.
I think it's more about the repeat visits.
Yeah.
And using that words rather than
yeah.
I can't. I've been to so many meetings where they talk about that, and it's just so difficult to even have the conversation, because the board, when it gets to that level, the board is ROI or ROI. But when they're at that lower level, and they're expanding, I think it's more over how do we make that person a raving fan. And that's and the aesthetics is massive.
And it's also how much you use that building, so you really sweat it. So maybe there's, again, go back to like merging the two worlds. So having different, like throughout the day, you can have it like, how do you make it that it's actually working?
Is it all day dining? But how do you really make it all day dining? Because you go to somewhere there's all day dining and it's not, it's nighttime.
No, exactly.
So, you couldn't feel comfortable sitting there with your laptop open.
Yeah, exactly.
So
how do you adapt it? And that's all through design.
Yeah.
And it's like, so
my brain's tweaking. It's really interesting. Wow. I've spoken to loads of, like, we've been speaking to Bills over the last like 20 years, right? Of different meeting different people, and I've never really had the creative conversation, because again, we're tech, right? So we don't always sit at that space, but it's really interesting to hear the thought process, and nice to understand that you actually marry the best of both together. Being married, best of both together, which is really nice, because you could say something and he'll be like, well, that won't work here. And then your brain goes, well, I'll just fix it. And then the flow will be that way. Which isn't that often.
Well, luckily we also now have an amazing, talented team. So we have, amazing designers in-house who fully understand the concept.
How much are you design freak? Like, how much are you like?
When we sit in restaurants,
are you sitting
we
and
are
itching?
annoying.
Yeah,
people be like looking at, because that is the thing.
It's like going
married to your business partner. It's like, how often do you try not to talk about work? We love to go to restaurants, and it all stemmed from that, really. And we go to many different types, but then we sit there and analyze everything, which is
and then you give them the report at the end, like you give them a little report, slip that under the thing. We can make you 10x revenue.
They probably hate us by the end, but I just know. I look at, like,
you could probably say, look, for 500 quid you could just do this. Just change that light.
Oh my god, honestly,
I feel like you need a little. I feel like you need to do a little bit of content. Like, maybe like you got Eating with Todd, right? And he's doing his whole eating song, and you could be like sitting there going, right, if I like literally go in and say, give me 500 quid and I will make one area in your room, in your restaurant, be the most popular area, and they're like, rubbish, whatever, okay, and that sort of thing. Like, you could literally just like, it's like Rams's Kitchen Nightmares. Of course, but but on content, you could. It's interesting on what. I feel like you could be on those sort of shows. The turnaround.
How would you?
How would you do it? I think we need to speak to Netflix. We should really, because I think that could be really interesting.
But it's a tricky one, though, isn't it? Because when we can't really then tell people like what they're doing badly.
It's not about that, is it? Because you would approach it slightly differently. You would approach it on the emotion. Right. Rather than what the negative is. So if you flip it to the positive, than the negative. Obviously, TV wants the negative, right? So they want the shock factor of like, but the British way is a bit different, because we're like pretty quiet, and we're not really gonna, we're gonna sit there and go.
And I'd interview the staff immediately as well. Just like, how do you feel being here? What do you hate? Because you can just tell immediately if like.
But that's your hospitality side and your brain kicking in. Because again, no one I know in design would go in and have a chat with the team. Even to the point, if you're building a new site and understanding the process of the old, having a chat with them changes your thought process on the whole business. Right? So is that something you generally do as well? Is it before you start, would you, if they've got a couple of sites already, would the sort of like the beginning pieces is understanding the flow, the design, the food?
Definitely. The chef, what they want to achieve, like all of it. All the most of the stakeholders within it, you need to really understand.
Because I'm assuming some will be like, I've got it all, blah, blah, blah. But then after you've had that conversation, you've softened them a bit, I guess, haven't you? And they've and then they know that you understand the vision.
Yeah, exactly.
So interesting.
And then they're more bought in as well if they know they've been part of it. So I think it is, and again, it is good when they've already got 3 or 4 sites. They've learned from there. They're the places that when
they're ready,
and then they're ready to like expand, and they know that's when we're probably the most valuable at that point. Really.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's super interesting how you've brought it together. Okay, we're coming to the end, so thank you. This has been. I'm gonna give a little round of applause. There you go. My brain tinkers away because I think about when you go out for a meal. The reason why I like where I'm going is because someone like you has gone, right, if we put this here, or we do this, or there's this scent, or the lighting's like this, it's that remembering piece that you're always going to remember.
Yeah.
And I don't think my brain doesn't go to it, but it's thanks to people like you, who are not the many of, but people like you who will work together and make that space feel comfortable and memorable. And then easier for the staff to use, which I never even thought about. Because that's what my brain goes, well, the manager will fix it. The manager will figure that out. That's how my brain goes, but it's not the case. That's how a lot of
designers just like, oh, that'll look good. And, you fit this in there. And or you
have
a little corner there, so shove that there, and it kind of is done that way. And then it doesn't work in reality. And then
you've got to
retrofit it on.
Okay, so one of the last questions here actually was interesting. So this was looking ahead. What trends or shifts do you see redefining hospitality spaces in years to come, whether the layout, the technology, or customer expectations? And how is 2G preparing for those changes? Because everything's changing, right? You've already said the offices are changing, which I think is insane.
So I'd say that is one of the biggest trends. And, again, we really try to avoid, because you get a lot of people going, what's the design trend at the moment? We really avoid those answers because we don't design spaces to be within a design trend, because if you're going to spend that amount of money, you want the longevity, you want it to speak to all the trends, really, and you want it to speak to you as a brand. And so it's not about, the color palette that's out at the moment or that. It's about how do you really make you feel a place and personality as you walk in. But I do think this hospitality and office sort of like emergence, that's the word, is basically such a big topic at the moment. And that is a lot how we're preparing, because we're working with offices to make it more hospitality led and working with hospitality operators to come into those spaces and working with them to ensure that their personalities within it. And then,
do you think there's going to be a happy medium moving forward where people are going to create space? I mean, the food halls are sort of doing it now, aren't they? They're changing slightly to make it about that, but
they're not comfortable.
No.
So I think they've got a long way to go still.
That word, comfortable. My wife now will look on the photos of the restaurant for the chairs. Because she's like, I'm done. I don't want to sit in a hard chair. And she's never
some cheap furniture.
She's never thought about it previously, but now, because she'd sit there just in like uncomfortable, and you sit on this wooden chair with no cushion, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't go there. And I think it's the places that are going to work. The places that are thinking about that are designing to have a space where people could go and sit comfortably on their laptop, but obviously incentivize them to order and want to eat and all that stuff. But then space where people want to go and sit and just have drinks. And if you want certain spaces where you've got a quick turnaround, then you have certain furniture in like settings that allow that. And then places if you want people to stay longer.
You've got the high bar for people who want a quick turnaround out. You've got the comfy area in the corner, the coochie chair.
Exactly. And then flexibility, so if people want to use a space for bigger events and things like that. And I think that's the way hospitality is, and I think operators should also be working with office. So I think the two worlds are going to absolutely.
It's multi-use now. I think it's it's going to be really interesting actually to see over the next couple of years to see what spaces are going to look like. Because it really is. Because realistically, the businesses sort of want their staff to sort of stay. Like if you look at the Morgan Stanleys and JP Morgans, they've got this they've got an insane kitchen with 15 all different, but it's not a conducive place. It's like it's a big old circular kitchen. You go and get your food, you go sit down, you eat, and then go out to work.
Well, I think those companies should be also looking at F&B, like how is it that and I think that is where, and which is obviously a great trend for us. People are coming to us being like, how do we make our breakout space, so the F&B areas,
Yeah.
really like, but we also work with the full building. So it kind of isn't just then the F&B, but it's like
the flow,
all the spaces where everyone sits, where everyone works. And, so I think it is, so I think those two worlds. Also, I think within hospitality, a lot of people are talking to us about how do we have a leaner team, but just really efficient. And I think
really
that's really like key. So we're working with people about how do we do that.
Yeah, so you can help with speed of service. You can help with the flow. You can help with how the flow from the food from the kitchen out to the space.
Yeah,
which is massive right now.
Exactly.
That's another thing I never even thought about. It's so interesting that people are asking you guys, how do we make it leaner? How do we make it more efficient?
Yeah,
and then leveraging on both of your experience, because I find it hilarious that your husband has done fine dining and construction. It's an interesting, but it's a great marriage of information, because he's been in the kitchen. He understands how that all works.
Totally.
So to get from pastry to dessert to mains and get it all away.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's insane. And then I think that's really interesting. It's super needed.
Yeah.
If you can get a lean team, but they're amazing.
Exactly.
Then you're going to shine.
And that is where what everyone is trying to do. And I think, again, it needs to come from the initial concept. How do you create that, rather than trying to retrofit that?
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to give me some sites to visit so I can take notes.
Yeah.
And go, and you've done recently.
Yeah.
That's cool. Amazing. So this has been super interesting. It's really interesting. The story and your story as well. I love it. That from like where you've been and then the pivot. It's you took the jump and you haven't killed each other yet, so you're doing all right. No, I don't work with my wife. We don't work in the same office, so if we were in the same office, it would be a different story.
To be honest, everyone asks me that.
So and then talk to me. How does it work with? So now you've got a team, which is great. So how does it work with kids versus work?
So it's stressful.
Yeah.
So I've got a 7-year-old and 9-year-old, and I have to juggle. And also, we want to be going out. We want to, be experiencing all of the F&B offerings there are and all of that. So I don't get a lot of sleep for one. Yeah. But it's fun, and to be honest, it's great. And I think, it is just a constant juggle of life. But a lot of my friends are juggling life, and I suppose at least when you're your own boss, you can go and do pickups and
you can have that phone. Is it kids? Be quiet. I've got a meeting.
Yeah.
Don't. But I guess now the Zoom generation doesn't really matter, because if kids are in the background, people don't care anymore.
No, that's true.
I think that's made things probably a bit easier.
That is. Oh yeah. I think COVID has had some real positive sort of changes that we needed. But I think. To juggle.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, so so the questions coming in a minute. Where do people find you? How do they look for you? What's the
as in the website?
Anything,
so we 2gdesignandbuild.com. Instagram is your
Instagram's really insane.
It's
like a restaurant.
See lots of our designers in that. That's probably the best place, is obviously LinkedIn.
Yeah, awesome.
Catherine Gwynne.
So I'm going to give you another round of applause that they can all hear. Do you like that? I've also got this one as well. So I've got
I like it.
Yeah, and then we've got the record scratch. Or if it goes really badly, it's the crickets. And then we've got some where are we? The chimes.
Nice.
And then that was a megaphone, but you can hear the megaphone, right? And then and then what is this one? Large robot.
I feel like you're pressing the same button.
You can't hear it because I'm here, but they'll be able to hear the changes. So but listen, it was super interesting to listen to hear the story, and my brain's going. I think now whenever I go out, I'm gonna look more into how everything's connected.
Yeah,
it's super. I do sometimes think about it, but for me, it's text. I'll be like, oh, why is that out there, or why is that cable hanging out, or so on. You're like, why is that light there? Why is that thing there?
Absolutely.
So okay, final questions we have are best restaurant.
I just hate that question. It's like when people say, what's your best wine?
What is your best wine? I'm kidding.
Well, again, it's like how I feel, and so like I've had so many amazing experiences.
I love it. So when I ask this question, the first thing you do is you look up, I think, to the right, because it's your mate. It acts like the left. I forget. I think it's the left. You look up to the left, and you're like, no, it's the right. You look up to the right, and that hits your memory cortex in your brain.
Yeah.
And what's the first thing you do that when you look up and you go, and then you say best restaurant? The first thing that comes to memory.
So it's because I went there, and I've been a few times recently. Barafina.
Yeah.
Bloody love Barafina.
Oh, it's insane. They're just opened in Dubai.
Have they?
Yeah. There's a franchise out, but it's insane. The whole team, we work with them, an insane team. They're such a nice group of people.
Design their space.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? Just how it's done. That's all.
Yeah, and again, you walk in, you know what it is that they're all about, and you get that feeling. And I think
Also, I think the eye contact piece, because it's such you've got the people behind the counter, right?
Yeah.
So as soon as you walk in, the feel, the look, the smile.
Yeah.
That whole thing is just. And it's quick and easy as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think it is. Then obviously, in Birmingham, if we shout about Birmingham, obviously I said about Tropea, but Albatross, which is like, it's a brilliant, like he's an amazing job there. There's loads. There's just so many.
Well, we're going to go on to best burger now.
So
you can do a Birmingham one if you want.
They need it to be that they make sure that they don't put shit bread in it, because often they'll do that. And
they put filler in it sometimes, don't they?
Yeah, or they just like, just go and get like, there's so much better bread options out there. There's one called Original Patty Men. And they're amazing. So I would probably say that.
I'm good for that. And then best hotel.
Best hotel. Well, there's one in Milan that we went to again that amalgamated the bar and the hotel with it. It's called Athos or something.
Oh my God, they've got one in Shoreditch here now.
Have they?
Yeah. So the Nobu, we were speaking at the moment. It's insane. So it's the old Nobu Hotel in Shoreditch. It's now still got Nobu in it, but it was theirs. And it's insane. It's like a members club / hotel. Yeah. They've got like these beautiful like extended balconies. And it's in the middle of Shoreditch. It looks.
So they've opened already.
It was theirs, but I think it was Nobu Hotel in Shoreditch.
Oh, right.
And then Nobu opened their own hotel in Portland Place, right? Down there. And then they've kept Nobu the restaurant in there, but the hotel is now back to the original owners, all the brands, and it looks insane. The whole. I'm with you. They've got it. They've just got it. I looked at it. I was like, I saw the one in Milan actually on their website.
It's wicked.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Very well done.
I love that because it's super clever. And in lots of ways, simple in certain ways. Like it's not like super expensive light fittings or any of that. It's just clever and comfortable and just inspiring and all of those things. So
amazing. Okay, 2 questions for the next guest.
Oh yeah. I know. I had to scribble. So I think basically the thing that makes me sad is the amount of press about how crap the hospitality industry is.
Yeah.
And I think in a way it needs to be said, but like, how do we start making the message positive?
Yeah.
Like,
spin
it a little bit, because I think it's a little bit like Birmingham. You've got to spin, there's sometimes negativity. It's like, there's so much positivity. Let's talk about that. How do we do that?
Yeah. Like that.
And then how do you ensure that like hospitality operators understand the importance of design? Well, that has to be an operator, so it depends who
Could be anyone, it doesn't really matter.
Next.
It's an interesting conversation. That's a good one.
Because sometimes they don't,
they'll just. Sometimes it's hard to find a space. It's just a square box.
Yeah.
But there's so much you can do with a square box, right?
Yeah.
So it's so many things.
And people sometimes just like, it's weird that like the money saving can come there, but then realise that actually it's very short-sighted to do it. From that
I remember Oaxaca used to be on Charlotte Street. It's now Carousel, and I used to take when my kids used to hike during when they were younger, when they were at school, half term and stuff. I'd bring them up to town, and they come to my office. They draw all over the thingy on the walls and stuff. Not the walls, but all over the marker boards. And Oaxaca was opposite, and upstairs was like there's like a big old like seats hanging from the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
And it was their favorite thing to go do. Like they'd loved it. It was fun. It was a good environment. It was vibey. It was cool.
They could sit in those things.
Yeah. They were like giant. There were sort of giant things. You go upstairs. Well, it's not there anymore, but when you went upstairs, you had these two sort of like hanging, sort of like oak sort of like seats hanging from the ceiling, and I'll remember it forever.
Yeah,
because it was something they were like, can we go across the road to and just those little touches, right?
Yeah.
Is all about it's all about those memory pieces. But I'm gonna give you another. So give everyone a wave goodbye. Thank you so much for coming. That was insane.
Checking the
It's all good. It's all good. See you guys later.